Okay.
Go for
You
it.
go first. Like traveling in Europe, for example, it was like just one-way ticket. I don't know where to go next. I was enjoying it so much until I burnt out. I'm like,
What do you mean you feel burnout because of the food, no, you don't know what's like challenging of life, spoiled girls.
she's enjoying uncertainty. It's like it's triggering me even more. I'm like, please just buy a ticket. I beg you.
And I'm like, what do you mean I'm not having fun? I'm sleeping in a bad hostel, eating like a food that I don't know. I'm vegetarian for weeks.
Turkish people, they're like so stuck with their taste.
Assalamu alaikum, guys.
Assalamu alaikum.
Today we are back with a new episode, and actually like today episode, it's really nice episode that we thought about it. We thought about the topic for a while.
And a deep one.
Yeah, it is. And actually it is an episode that we are going to talk about things that no one makes you aware of it while you start traveling, and actually also no one validate that. So, which is emotional struggles while traveling, and specifically for women, because I know like women, we go through a lot of emotional damage every month. So it's totally different for sure, like than men traveling for sure. So yeah, that's like.
So this is what we're going to discuss today, actually, because like we have been discussing this in between us for a little long while now, and like it's not that we just came to all of these conclusions like many years before, like since we started traveling, but now like after many years we just sit down and like reflect on it and like come to some conclusions and discuss this in between, and we're like, okay, probably when people are saying and like pushing us to travel and they're like, just go discover the world, it's not fully the smartest idea on its own. While you're not aware of some things, and like when you lack a bit of self-awareness. So we're like kind of realizing this now, and it's just that people are not validating it. And I think that's because they just don't want to show people either that like they just go like leave things behind, right? We leave things behind, and like kind of
I think like the reason for it, I think like everyone is gaslighting their own feelings.
But why?
That's the thing. Because I feel like I have seen many of people traveling, but why it's not that much spoken about it, that's the thing. And actually, when you just like start hinting about the topic with someone else, the other person feels like finally someone understands my pain. So you feel like everyone was just having this feeling, but they are not sure about it. And then like the moment that someone else show a little bit of understanding or like show a little bit of similarity, of this
or
feeling,
vulnerability, when you express that, I think you kind of allow other person to discover their vulnerability in this situation. Because just like in all aspects of the life, traveling comes with its own struggles. But when you're like neglecting those struggles because you just want to enjoy the moment, enjoy the things that you have, the beautiful view that you're watching at that moment, like you kind of don't want to see those things more than your normal life.
That's the thing. I think that's why, just like I come up to that now, I think that's why people are gaslighting. Gaslighting? Okay. With Z? Gaslighting their own emotions, because it's like basically imagine like you're seeing this amazing part of the world, like you're really immersed, by I don't know, like a view or sunset view or a volcano or whatever, and then you feel like it's not fair for me to feel like guilty or emotional exhausted or something like this. So it's kind of like you don't validate your own emotions, because probably maybe you think that I have like no right, but doesn't make sense for me, to feel sad while I'm exploring, a volcano or like a waterfall or like doing safari,
But this is the problematic thing in itself, because as you said, you feel like it doesn't make sense to feel that way, but feelings doesn't have to make sense, right?
That's the thing, yeah.
So it's so normal to feel sad, anxious, confused, exhausted while you're on the way as well.
While you're doing safari is like 100% okay, you know.
But I think we should allow ourselves to feel these things even more, because we definitely feel all of these things more intensely than our normal routine life. Because, so this is where we will talk about because now as we are sharing this, maybe you're thinking like, why would someone feel like that, you know? As you know, as you're traveling, you're in Malaysia right now, but things can get more complicated when you're away. So yeah, this is what we're kind of going to break down today.
And the thing is, because me and Beyza, we have been talking personally like about this for the past few days. So we kind of thought like, why not? We just share it.
Yeah, maybe if you're traveling, and like you need someone to show their vulnerability, and then you may feel understood this way. So hopefully this can be helpful. But also, if you didn't launch your journey, if you're not traveling, you know, we kind of want to give you a real sense of what traveling looks like. Yeah, because it's not really like what you would see on Instagram photos and videos, I would say. Yeah,
definitely. So because we have been talking, I think we gave them like already a good introduction, you know, about what is it. If I'm going to ask you, like personally, from your whole experience that you had in like the intensive years of traveling so far, what do you think like the biggest challenge emotionally that you had to deal with?
Okay, so as a Turkish person, I think you know this. I didn't know that food was something emotional for me. This is gonna be like the funny intro part, okay? For me, like, but that's real. Like as a Turkish person, I crave the foods, and I think even the smell of a food that I'm used to have, even like this, we say ince belli bardak, you know, like these teacups that we have, that I just want to have it, you know, like I don't feel like I'm drinking a tea when I have like a big cup. It doesn't give the same vibe. So like these kind of small things that are making me homesick. And I would not be aware of this. I would not be aware of how much I value these things unless I traveled actually. So like it's kind of like coming with the benefit of opening my eyes of how valuable these things are in my life that I see as guaranteed, you know, but they're not actually. So like, it's kind of like a slap to me, you know, like just see the value in it. So now when I have it afterwards, I'm sure that my view to those things are going to be different.
So for you, it's like basically you're really struggling food-wise in general.
Maybe
like
I'm
in
like
all your trips, or because right now you are under the influence of being in Asia for a while?
Yeah, I think so. And now I'm thinking like it's not my first time living away from home for a longer period of time. I stayed in Europe for like 6 months, in Japan for 3 months. It's been longer, you know. But why am I feeling it that intense here? Because in Asia, it's like so hard to access the Turkish food. Like there's no Turkish market, there's almost no Turkish restaurant. And like, you know, if you want to cook it yourself, it's kind of like getting expensive and stuff like that. So like, but in Japan, for example, in the mosque, we already had a Turkish restaurant, a Turkish cook. So I was eating Turkish meal every single day, and we were cooking with the girls together. In Germany, obviously, like it's Turkish everywhere. Like every single day I was eating Turkish foods. So that's why I think I'm feeling it for the first time ever, this intense. That's why it's kind of struggling. Yeah. And the funny part is that when I came here, I was like, I want to eat Asian food all the time. I want to cook Asian food. It's going to be so cheap. You know, I'm going to make sushi. I'm going to make noodles, something like that. I did some. I liked it. But
she liked it.
Now I ended up cooking Turkish food every day. You know, like it's just, I think I have a limit for that. I'm not sure if it's the most one that I'm struggling with. Maybe I'm just avoiding more vulnerable things to when the topic gets deeper, maybe I can go there. But for now, this is the one that I
No,
want
I
to
mean, it's
mention.
possible because actually, like, I saw many people or travelers in general that they cannot tolerate, eating like different food than the food that they know. So it's possible. I even saw people that they literally like go to some countries, and for the whole period of time, they don't even try the food of that country.
I
They
think,
just eat mainly something that looks familiar to them.
yeah, okay.
It's not because of like they are scared of poisoning or whatever. It's just a choice of we don't want it,
Okay.
We don't want it
But
anymore.
I think that's more like, being afraid of going your comfort zone and like sticking with what you want to eat. Because some people, they're like, especially Turkish people, they're like so stuck with their taste. Even when, for example, when Turkish people go to Umrah, the hotels are cooking Turkish food for them because otherwise they'll starve to death.
Yeah. I stayed in one of the hotels, in the elevator. I'm literally smelling, like I'm in a Turkish household, just like in the elevator.
Yeah. So like many of them, they wouldn't even want to taste sushi, Asian food at all. For me, it's not the case. I love to try. I think like, I want to, go for like some different foods, but eating it every day, it just kind of like
too much
makes me homesick, like it just kind of makes me miss my own spices like that. I think you miss like some chili stuff and like your chili sauce.
For sure I miss that. But I think like at this point food is kind of I balance it, I used to food used to make me like feel homesick a lot because it's like when I was in Thailand, I told you like I was vegetarian for like 2 weeks. So to give like a background about the being an Arab, meat is something, alhamdulillah, is a privilege, but like meat is more important than veggies and anything else. You can literally eat just meat and you leave like all the other stuff, even if you don't have like you don't have like you're not wealthy or anything, just like normal, you can still have access to meat. That's how important it is. So after being with that, like living, eating meat for that amount of time and then going to Thailand and being vegetarian for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like this, because I was so done with chicken labels. Is it halal or not? Is it halal or not? So I was like, okay, I'm just eating veggies. Yeah, I felt like I just want comfort food. I just want my Tunisian food and everything. And I think like the thing is about it is because basically like even the food, as you said, is a comfort zone. Like we build somehow emotional bond with the food. Even the people that
I think so.
eat just for surviving, because some people say to me like, no, we don't care about food. Food is just for surviving. Your body have an emotional connection with the food.
Yeah.
And that connection starts since you are young, like since you are a baby. And that's why we have like different food. That's why we go to Indonesia, with all respect, but we see people eating rice, but we're not used to it. And then I actually met one Indonesian guy. He said like, I hated my life in Turkey just because the amount of spices. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like Turkish food, with all respect also, so like not so but blunt for me, like for me is not that full of spiciness if I compare it to my food or like Indian food, for example. And then he said like, yeah, I was just eating bread and cheese, that's it. Because all what he knows is like white rice with some veggies, That's how he grew up eating. So yeah, back to the thing that we kind of like create an emotional bond with the food, and then when you start traveling and you go like to these places, that bond is like cut, and now you have like detached. So it's kind of like now you are in your uncomfortable zone.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of how much you can live with that, how much you can survive with that. So yeah, it's not like, because when we say like, oh, food is my struggle, people think that what are you talking about?
That's why it sounds like funny.
What do you mean?
But I think like even the smell of something, like it's kind of like triggers something in your brain. It can take you to a whole another place, like it can bring you a lot of memories.
It's more deeper than that, actually, you guys. It's just like a science matter, maybe not science, but like your body know it.
Yeah.
You gaslight yourself, but your body
'Cause
can feel it, you
I
know?
feel like, when I eat my like comfort foods
Mhm.
or like something that I am connected with, that I'm used to eating it at home, I feel like it's really calms my nervous system at that moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I
So
wanted
it's
to say.
more than a food. That's
Yeah, it is more than a food. It is.
Yeah.
And that's why it is challenging on the long term.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reason why you get burnout.
Mm-hmm.
Because like burnout is kind of like familiarity. If I'm going to reverse the question that I gave to you, which is like what was the most thing that I have struggled with personally, which is like familiarity in general, because it's kind of like a cup, and everything food, now half of the cup is empty. People that speak your language, now the more is empty. Faces and culture and what's behavior. Can I do this? If I do this, am I being offensive to them? If I say no, am I being like this, that? You're trying to adapt in this like new environment that also empty the cup more. Now you're left with an empty cup, and now you're burnout.
Yeah.
So on the long term, these kind of things like individually makes you say like, this is normal stuff. What do you mean you feel burnout because of the food? No, you don't know what's like challenging of life, spoiled girl, something like this. But as we said, your body creates a bond with that, and now you're cutting a bond, and now your body is grieving, because you don't have that sense of familiarity and emotional comfort that your body so it's kind of like you had, like, for example, a relationship, emotional relationship, let's say, and now you break up with someone. Of course you're going to feel sad, and you're going to cry, and you're going to do. So it's kind of like, I look at it from that perspective, personally.
So this is actually like one of the things that is feeling, like the cup. And if we don't put that much effort to, make it work, or like, kind of calm our nervous system down and like fix these things in the better, like most possible way, then it's like the cup is just filling up, and then it's just becoming a mess.
Yeah.
So like, as you said, we kind of try to balance it. So for me, for example, like I try to, if I feel like I'm going too much out of my comfort zone, I know that a burnout is coming soon, and I don't want that to happen. So
like around the corner.
If I feel the alarms of it, I'm like, okay, I need to stick with my routines a bit more. I need to cook a bit my home food. I need to connect with my loved ones a bit more, so that like I can recharge and continue my life away in the best way possible.
Personally, I feel like I didn't knew what burnout was. I was one of the people that was a bit gaslighting my own emotions, because I thought like, what is this feeling that I feel like I don't want to do anything anymore, and I'm kind of like sad, but at the same time I want to do it more, like I want to travel more and everything, until I reach a certain level where I'm not actually able to even talk with people. So for the girlies out there that traveling or wants to travel or anything like that, burnout exists, and it's normal. Your body is exhausted of coping with the new environments and the new challenges and the emotional roller coaster that you are going on. So just pause, do nothing, literally do nothing, because it's like, I think that's what helped. Slow down. Then try to fill your cup with the things that you said, so which is like the comfort zone. Go back to the comfort zone, try to cook your own meal, connect with loved ones, do something familiar that doesn't push your body to alarm, like, just give me a rest. I cannot breathe anymore, because that's what the body will do until it shut down. It cannot. Seriously, until now I still remember that in Bangkok, about this, like, for a week I'm in the hostel, literally just in my bed for 24 hours for a week.
It may feel like, you're just traveling, you're in a whole new city, everyone is just crazy about going to Thailand or anywhere else, and you're just in a hotel and you may feel like, but I'm losing time, you know, like I could have do more, I could have visit this, I could have go to this store or something,
but you cannot.
Yeah, you know, like we always talk about this, you know, just because you can do something, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do it, you know. If your body is alarming, you gotta listen it, you know, if you want to, you know, continue your life and like you want to continue your travels in a more balanced way, you know.
And it's normal. That's the thing.
Yeah, I think everyone has that.
Don't think about it that it's abnormal thing and it's only happening to me. It is normal. It is happening to everyone. Don't look, this is like intake from my own perspective. Never look at people and think like, oh, but Jack or I don't know, whoever, you know, that I met, you know, the last week, she had been traveling, you know, for a year. She said like, oh, I have never felt burnout or anything like that. Don't believe that.
I don't think that's healthy, though.
Don't believe that. Yeah, exactly.
Because there's someone that I know, like she has been traveling for like 4 or 5 years, like fully backpacking all over the world. And I was watching her like mesmerized.
Me
and I'm
too.
like, how can someone emotionally like have this huge capacity? And like imagine she's doing couch surfing and working away all the time. Which means like you have to give a lot from your stuff. You don't give from your money, you don't give from your food, you don't give from like anything. Energy. You give from your soul.
Yeah, totally.
It's like too much, you know? And that's another struggle that it brings actually, because, you know, normally in your normal life and you work, like you just hang out a bit and then you just go home and like recharge, or like you just do whatever you want and you get recharged. So you kind of have your own space to recharge, you know?
I want to say one thing before like we move on to another thing, which is that's the thing, because like for the people that started traveling or they are traveling already or they will travel, you will meet these kind of people that have been backpacking for I don't know how many years, or have been even for 6 months, you know, and they look like, oh, La La Land, you know, and La Vie en Rose and stuff like that.
What is that?
La Vie en Rose is like life is pink.
Okay.
In French. And they are like, no, but I have been I did 10 countries in 6 months and stuff like that. That's not normal. I can assure you after like 2 years of traveling, that's not normal. Because I used to look at that, I'm like mesmerized, as you said, you know, I'm like, I wish if I can do that. I'm like, why? I felt burnout, you know.
And I feel like something was wrong with me, you know, like feeling this way. I felt like my emotional capacity is just so low. Mm-hmm. That to maintain it.
But that's not the thing, because they are suppressing probably what whatever emotion they are going through. The fact that you feel burnout from traveling, it's a good sign. It's a healthy sign. Just pause, give yourself a rest. It's okay. And that's it, move on, you know?
Yeah.
Even if you don't feel like the urge to see any more countries anymore or anything like that, or you feel like you want to go back home and take a flight ticket, you're not failing in life. You are not, you know, like it's okay. Your body needed, just go back home and then maybe tomorrow, like and later on you can travel again. And I like at the beginning I felt also bad because I was like, I'm leaving Bangkok and I don't know anything about Bangkok. And everyone is like, have you seen that temple? Have you did that? Have you do this? And I'm like, just in my, you know, hostel just for a week. I don't know anything about Bangkok right now, except like the way to the airport, you know, and like a food market, which was like 5 minutes walk to the hostel. Yeah. And now like whenever people start talking about Bangkok in front of me, I'm like, maybe. Yeah, I know Bangkok, yeah.
Maybe Allah protected you from something, you know, so let's look at it from that positive way.
Yeah, so like the main goal of this, that just like, it is true and it is real, the burnout thing. And I know that's also, you might talk to your family back home or like your friends back home and you say like you're burnout and they say like, what are you burnout of? Having fun?
I wouldn't say that to them, honestly. I wouldn't be, that's the thing, you know, like, because when you're traveling and you feel burnout, you feel depressed, you feel sad, I don't think any traveler just would go to their family or like friends like, okay, that's brave.
I got my lesson.
Yeah, I want to listen
hard
that
way.
But for me, it's like, you know, then they would just come up and say, then why do you travel? then like for a person who's not traveling, it's hard to explain that, you know, because they have never been here, they haven't seen those places that you have seen, experienced the things that you have experienced, so they cannot empathize with that. So what they see is like, you know, why are you doing this to yourself, you know? So yeah, that's why I love to share these emotions with people who may empathize and like understand. Yeah, so I think that's the thing that's helping. Yeah.
I think
how was
like
your experience? Yeah.
Yeah, as you described, like no one understands the comment of are you like are you burnout from having fun, you know?
Okay.
Literally, in nutshell, you know, like are you burnout from having fun? And I'm like, what do you mean I'm not having fun? You know, I'm sleeping in a bad hostel, eating like a food that I don't know. I'm vegetarian for weeks, you know. What fun you're talking about? Like what fun do you think I'm doing? You know, like I don't know, safari, something like this, or like swimming in Maldives, you know, with shark. So that's the thing. But La ilaha illallah, I wanted to say something. I forgot. Yeah, I would say that don't just talk to your family about it or to anyone that didn't travel. Just try to find a traveler that understands
Okay.
and someone that you can connect with.
Okay.
Even if it's a person that, this is for me, I don't think Beyza will recommend something like this, but even if you met a person that you're not sure, just trauma dump on him, you know, or her, and you won't see their faces ever in life, so just be okay with it. And that's it.
Actually, that helps because like travelers do help travelers in that sense. But I don't think like, you know, suppressing or like hiding it from like people back at home is not the best thing, even though I still do that a bit. Because I would want them to know the struggles that I'm having. And like, even though they cannot empathize, I would want them to be willing to listen or at least know, you know, like, because I don't like to just show illusion to people, even on my, you know, social media. I just share all the struggles or the emotional things that I'm going through, also the beauties that I'm seeing, so that you have a better understanding. So when people back at home, they just see like my life in an amazing way, I feel like I'm kind of lying to them, like, you know, kind of not showing them what exactly I'm going through. Yeah, and like that's actually because I'm also thinking that they may become sad, you know, which is something that I shouldn't be doing because it's not my problem, it's not my emotions, you know. This is what we have been talking about recently, right? Like it's not
taking
my responsibility to take their emotions on. So I would love to be able to, you know, share these things more with my family if you're listening. Maybe my sisters, I don't know. Yeah. So that's the thing. So I just try to see your situation and like definitely, even if you don't have anyone to share these things, I think it helps to write down. Just don't suppress it.
Journaling helps a lot while traveling. I would recommend that as a person that likes to journal myself. Just like the healthy part of it, the only thing that will help, don't suppress it, don't gaslight yourself, just say okay, slow down, and you're not failing in life, you're not missing anything, you know. Bangkok is the same, it's not going to change. I don't know, like whatever country you are in, you can always go back and everything. So yeah.
Uncertainty. Okay, like that's I think that it's getting deeper, you know. Let's do that.
That's your
because I think this is like I don't have any tolerance to uncertainty. So you know, that's why I started with food actually, because like, this is I think the most thing
to open up.
Yeah. Okay.
Go for it.
You go first.
She was like, this is my topic, and then just go for it. Okay.
Because you're a bit more okay with that? With certainty, at least you have more tolerance to it?
Yeah, I think I'm enjoying uncertainty.
Yeah, and like as she's enjoying uncertainty, it's like, it's triggering me even more. And like, please just buy a ticket. I beg you. Just know what you want to do next year at least. Like, I don't want you to know what you want to do tomorrow, but at least several months later, like just something, you know?
Yeah. That's the thing between us. I feel like I'm healthy. Uncertainty, my level of uncertainty is healthy. Because I have seen worse.
Okay, the thing is, yeah, it's healthy to be able to stay in uncertainty, but it is still it's like still triggering your nervous system, because as human beings, from our fitra, from our creation, we need certainty. Like our brain works like that.
Yeah.
So
that's why we overthink about the future.
Yeah, this is kind of like a coping mechanism to not make things certain. So I think we're like both two completely different sides, because I'm like trying so hard to make things so certain. I may end up doing silly decisions or like random decisions.
Yeah, she stresses me out of booking flight without checking the visa. Like, sister, she doesn't even have a strong passport, because I have seen European and American, they book flights randomly, and I get it. Of course, they have a strong passport. They can just show up to immigration, finish. But you don't even have a strong passport. And then she's like, I booked flight to Vietnam. Do you have visa? She's like, oh, visa. Okay,
what is that?
Let me check. She just applied for her visa like 10 days before her flight or something like this. So you also, she's kind of like, her way of securing herself is like, oh, I have a flight in December. Okay, so now I have something to do.
Actually, like I'll tell you how I'm going to Vietnam randomly. It's like
it's like, that's the thing. It triggers me a lot.
So like in Malaysia, just to let you know, if you're flying from Turkey, they want you to provide a ticket showing that you will leave the country at a certain time. So I didn't know that when I went to the airport. So I went there and they said like, you don't have a return ticket.
That's also -1.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, exactly. She just said,
but it's just the regulation. I have never been the person who would just go through all the regulations and rules and stuff and learn it at the airport. So, so that's why I'm accidentally going to Vietnam. So they told me to buy just a ticket, and I'm like, okay, I don't know when I'm going back to Turkey yet, but I definitely know that I'm going to travel in Asia. So I'll just go to Skyscanners and then like just buy the cheapest ticket ever. And I found like, oh, there's a ticket to Vietnam in December. So I'm like, okay, let's buy that $50. So I'm like, I'm accidentally going to Vietnam right now. I have no idea about the country or anything, you know? Yeah, so like, but now since I came, my mind is so calm, because I know that in December I'm leaving Malaysia and I can do all of my plans according to that.
While for me, my visa is expiring here after 15 days, I still don't have ticket to anywhere.
Yeah. Like, how can you survive, you know?
And I'm eating, sleeping, and just enjoying life.
But the thing is, like, yesterday you were going to buy the ticket, and today it just tripled the price.
Yeah, tripled the price.
Even 4 times more.
Yeah. So
like, how do you cope with the stress? Don't you get stressed?
I am stressed. Today I was feeling down a bit, actually, because I'm like, so for record, I felt like I'm going to Oman, and I don't know when this episode is going to be published, but we are in December now. So it doesn't look like December because we are in Malaysia, obviously, because it's like winter season everywhere except Asia, part of Asia. So yeah, it's now I'm like kind of a bit uncertain where I'm going. But I'm like, I'm not going to stress myself about it, because there are a bunch of countries that I'm going to explore, you know? So I'll just like randomly choose a country.
And accidentally go to one of them.
Accidentally, but of course, checking for the visa thing first, checking for the regulation first, before booking flights, before doing anything, you know? Because like she stresses me out about this part. I'm like, I'm so triggered, despite the fact that I have like a weak passport. That's like a whole different thing.
Yeah.
I think like our passports, by the way, is not like so far. I mean, like the ranking, how many countries we can enter without visa.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Don't know.
Yeah.
Of course. I'm like not surprised.
I know that we can go to Europe, and I know that we can go to Asia.
No, visa free Europe?
Europe, we can't go to Europe.
Okay.
That's like a general idea, and we can go to Asia, you know? That's it. That's all in like Middle East. Okay. I don't mind the like airport visa and stuff. I don't search about those things unless I'm one day before something I asked a friend, you know? Yeah, because I can go to airport and ask them where to get the visa, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
I'm judging you now.
I can see that. So yeah, but the thing is, like for you, kind of cope with the stress.
Yeah.
For that to not alarm and like, you know, just not to get your mood down, to delay it, I think.
It's possible, yeah.
Yeah, and for me, I just rushed through it.
Yeah, so you don't live it.
Get stressed. Yeah. Both works, but I don't think both are the healthiest ways of coping.
Yeah.
So what would be the best scenario for you? What do you need? Like, why do you think we are having these stressful situations and we try to run away from that stress?
That's a good question.
Let's go deep.
Question. No, actually, because I think like having this lifestyle in general, like stress is part of it, you know, or uncertainty is part of it, to be honest. Because I have met many people that you ask them, for example, oh, okay, your visa expiring, where are you going next month? Oh, I'm going to, I don't know, Europe, Germany. And then like after 1 week, oh, do you have ticket already to Germany? And they were like, oh no, I changed my mind, I'm going to, I don't know, Bosnia or like Spain or whatever. So I think it is a part of it, like the uncertainty thing. The best scenario, I don't know, like, okay, I have to sit with myself, you know, and ask myself the question more. I don't have really specific answer because I'm not giving like that much value on the uncertainty thing. I'm just living with it. It's kind of like we are in okay relationship together at this point. But I think for you would freak out if you sit in the uncertainty for a bit of time.
Yeah, I think so.
So
that's why, like, for me, I wouldn't plan the whole thing. Like, where am I going to go on that day? Which places I'm going to visit, something like that. I was not used to doing that. But by the time passes, I think I'm just kind of getting to that place, you know, by the help of ChatGPT, of course. I'm still too lazy to go and write the whole itinerary. Itinerary. Anyways.
Even me, I don't know.
Yeah.
You got us, guys.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of like helping me to cope with that. Yeah. So kind of like, I think it's better to realize what's going on in your body when you're in such situations, what kind of reflexes you have. I think what we're talking right now is like a huge self-awareness, that we are aware what is making us stressed or what may make us stressed.
Experience.
Of course. And like giving some thought on it, you know? We have been doing this for a long while actually, right? But only now we just come to the conclusions.
So you guys just be soft on yourself, you know, like don't go hard on yourself if you're just like starting the traveling journey.
Yeah.
Because it's like, at the beginning.
I think at the beginning you enjoy the uncertainty because it's like it's so freeing, you know?
Yeah.
But I think it's afterwards it just hits a bit and like makes you feel exhausted, and then the stress comes with it, and you kind of start questioning why. But yeah, I remember at first, like traveling in Europe, for example, it was like just one-way ticket. I don't know where to go next. I don't know where am I going to sleep next. I was couch surfing all the time. Literally, you don't know who you're going to spend the day with, you know? Yeah, but I was enjoying it so much until I burnt out. And like had to come to this conclusion.
The monster. She let the monster out.
So I think it's definitely coming from the experience.
So like what we want to say right now, I think to clarify, is that uncertainty is part of the struggles, the emotional struggles, that at the beginning it is actually a big monster, as I said, but it doesn't show the real face at the beginning, because like at the beginning you're really recharged, you're already bored of things back home, or you're already, you know, coming with a high expectations, or you had like the best experiences, or you had whatever, you know,
and you're also bored of certain things, so you're like so enjoying uncertainty until some while, I guess.
Because back home is, you know, everything, even if you don't know like what your future look like or like your day-to-day life look like in details, but you still know certain stuff. I'm going to my work, which like in this place, and lunchtime I'm going to meet with this person. I'm going back from the gym at this time. I'm going to cook my meal at this time. I know like where the supermarket is. But then you go to, I don't know, Sri Lanka, and now like you have to Google where the hostel is. Okay, is the hostel close to the taxi station or like bus station? And then how am I going to reach from there to there? And then you check into the hostel and stuff like that. Now I'm hungry. Where am I going to eat? It's my first time in Sri Lanka.
And what am I going to eat? Because you don't expect to eat just banana in the breakfast.
Yeah, exactly. And then you go out. You'll be like, okay, you take your stuff, you go out, walking in the street, you know, you're trying to, oh, looks nice, but so different, you know, and your body is like, I'm not safe, I'm not safe, I'm not safe. Keep repeating that. And you're like, no, but this is Sri Lanka, you know, we're enjoying it. And then you're like looking at restaurants, nothing looks like a decent restaurant or like look like what your brain knows, you know, or define as restaurant.
Okay.
And you're like, what if I eat in this one, am I going to get poisoned? Is it okay or not? Do they have halal or not? Stuff like that.
And all of these questions take energy.
Yeah.
It takes from your mental energy that you would use to maintain your relationships, to, you know, focus on your work, to focus on your health and your life in general, you know?
Yeah, because you just go out to eat one meal. Look how many, and I can go on and on
imagine,
and on.
If it's a non-Muslim country, then you have to go through all the ingredients and like see if it's halal or not.
For 3 times a day or 2 times a day, for every day, as long as you are in that country. And repeat the cycle, repeat itself. So yeah. We're just like saying this little level of uncertainty just for eating a meal. We're not going to mention that you have to make friends. We're not going to mention that you have to introduce yourself. We're not going to mention that you have to come up with a plan, you know, to discover that city or like that place. And you also have to think, where are you going next after this city?
Yeah.
Which is a huge thing. And if that place worth it or not. And if you're also having like financial problems or like you're on a budget, that also something you have to consider because it consumes your Allah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is like the uncertainty part.
So recently in a podcast that I was listening, I listened to that while I was trying to cope with this uncertainty stress. And the girl there, she was advising to, you know, at least if you're in a new place completely, you can just choose a place that you will go for breakfast all the time or like lunch all the time. So every single day you will not think about where to eat next. And I tried that when I was in Borneo actually, because like in Borneo, it was like a traumatic experience for me. It was one of the most, I think the most beautiful place I've ever been. It was just so pure beauty in terms of nature and stuff. But it was just so rural area. It was like a seaside town village. So there was literally nothing to eat other than Asian, Malaysian food. And like it was just street food. So like it was not that healthy. And my immune system, it doesn't function like Malaysians. So like I have to be more cautious about that. So like there was only one restaurant / cafe that was like good, you know. It was Chinese, but still we could find some things to eat. So like the first day we went, we ate the food. It was not too pleasant, but it was still okay. Then like during the lunch and dinner, the next day we were trying to find other places. We were trying to go to other places, but it was all Malaysian food. We were just stressing ourselves. Should we eat here? Should we eat there? Should we go there? It's too far. Is it going to be safe? Something like that. And on the third day, I was like, you know, I just don't want to consume my energy thinking about what I'm going to eat next. Let's just stick with this one cafe and let's have our breakfast, lunch, dinner, thinking of it like our hotel restaurant. Okay, if we reserved in our host like 5-star hotel, we would have a resort food, right? So we did that, and it was so relaxing for me. I swear. I was like, okay, where are we eating next? We didn't have that question. So other than that, we already had a lot of struggles of like being inside of sea gypsies. You know, you just take the speedboat for like 1 hour. like you already go through intense experience, but at least sticking with that one breakfast place was
recharge you a bit.
Yeah, calming and recharging. So like it was something that benefited me personally, and I think I will do that a lot more. Yeah.
That was actually a great tip, because I'm thinking now while you're talking that it sounds as a normal tip, like it's
Yeah.
what is it, you know?
But I think you're doing that already a bit.
But
you don't realize that, because like you kind of go to the like same cafes to work in. Like this cafe in Central Market, for example, you don't think about where to go. You just have like several cafes that you love to go, and like you just stick with them and you go there consciously or unconsciously.
Yeah.
For me, I would love to visit different cafes. Even today, I'm going to supermarket and I'm like, I just want to try a new one, you know, rather than going to the same one. So I feel this urge, but I feel like you kind of love to stick with those.
But you know why? Because I have tried others.
And but you can search more. Like they're always like new ones, you know?
Actually, like at some point I feel bored with them. I don't want to go there. It's true. What you're saying is true. Actually, I'm having like this deep moment with myself. What you're saying is true, because there is two cafes, you know? It's either this one or this one at this point after a while in Malaysia, in KL. But like the thing is, because first of all, cafes close here at 6, sometimes 4. I'm like, am I supposed to wake up, you know, grinding at 8 a.m. so I can make it to the cafe? So these two cafes, actually, they stay late. The second part of it, that I have tried others that stay late, but I didn't like them. So somehow now, whenever I feel like I'm going through the stress of like, where am I going, you know, or let me try to find a cafe. Yeah, consciously or unconsciously, I'm like,
not thinking about it.
Yeah,
right?
I don't want to deal with that in my life more. You know, I have a lot of other things. I'm just going to that cafe. They have a good coffee. They have a cozy vibe. Yeah, the library is kind of like, that I can
comfort
confirm.
place.
Yeah, the library right now here is like my comfort place, because it has like everything. I don't have to stress about anything. I'm like the super productive person ever in my life version of me. And I know the way and everything.
Also, you love taking a walk almost every day.
Yeah.
So this is my observation. This is also something that you use kind of to cope with that stress that you're either suppressing or like dealing with.
Thank
you.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we cannot express, but like our body is alarming, so you just kind of give it its space for relax, you know. I think this is kind of a way for you to do that, like taking a walk and like recharging like that.
I think also that's why I feel like KL right now for me as a home, because I have built these, because I sit with myself and I thought like, why do I feel like I like it here? It's like a home place. Because like yesterday when we were talking, we were talking about the fact that we can travel, and you said like, I still want to go back to Turkey to recharge. And I told you like, for me, I can just go back here and I'm recharged. I don't need to go back all the way home. So the thing is, and I thought about it, and I think because I have built myself a comfort zone here of like specific places
and routines,
and I have also friends here. That's a huge thing, because I think it will be not a good experience if you know no one in the city. So now it's like, it's kind of like whenever I'm coming back from an intensive trip, I can see myself not stressing about things. I know where I'm going to work. I know from where I get like specific food if I want to. I don't even need internet at this point here, because I can just like navigate the transport system myself, which is like, I'm so proud of, you know, because if you can crack the code of like transport system in any country, you're good to go. If they have solid one, here is good. So yeah, these like the small, you are right. These are the small things that makes me feel comfort zone, like 100% here.
Yeah.
So
still, as we're abroad, I don't think it's 100%, but I would say that like for me, it's like helping, contributing me to, you know, ground.
Yeah, because she also go like to the same mall to do everything, to work.
Today I'm gonna go to a different mall.
she's like, she sent me voice note. Okay, I'm going to this specific like new place, whatever, you know. And then she like, I ended up actually going to the Quill Mall again, you know? Or she goes to KLCC. That's like the whole
True.
two places, which are like two malls. That's it. At least for me, I'm a little bit better than her because I know other malls. I have been to
Yeah.
other malls, but I choose to just stick to these two because I already like know
Yeah.
that I can just find whatever I want there. I don't have to stress, to go all the way.
Yeah.
But for you, it's like you're like, no, I don't want to deal with any uncertain and calling Grab and like taxi or whatever. I'm just going there straight away.
But it needs a lot of energy. Like I know I want to go to a new mall today, but I know that I need to make a lot more effort because when I go to a new place, I'm like, it's like everything is just so new. I'm like so distracted and like just takes so much of my energy. I enjoy it, but like it just takes a lot from me, So yeah, I only can get to do that when I feel recharged,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So now she's going to a new mall.
Yeah,
I'll
see how it goes. This is so funny. I feel like I'm going to a new country. It's just a mall, which is like 15 minutes away.
That's the thing. Actually, this new mall that she's so proud. I'm so proud of you as well. But he's like just 15 minutes walk from our place.
And like people may think like, bro, like you just travel to like 30, 40 countries and like you just make a big deal out of going to a new mall 15 minutes away. But that's the point that I came,
exactly. And
that's what burnout may look like.
Yeah, I think this is in nutshell like the explanation of everything we talked about.
Exactly. Yeah.
Literally, yeah.
But now I'm just gonna enjoy the new mall, this is what I'm going to stick with, Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll see how it goes. Like as you said, all of these things are like summarizing what going out of your comfort zone means. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also why people are saying that you should travel because you need to go out of your comfort zone, right? So yeah, it's coming with its benefits. Like when you experience all of these things that we mentioned, it's kind of like puts you in a situation where you have to deal with all of them on your own, all alone in the whole other part of the world. And like you literally don't have anything else to focus on. I think like that's kind of helpful in a way that is helping us grow mentally, so that we get to know when do we struggle, what do we like to do, what would help us like ground, what would help us calm down, the importance of the valuable things that we don't really see value in, the routines, what that means and why they should exist, all of these things, like the answers and the conclusions that we are coming that will be only possible through these experiences that we went through.
This is between parentheses. I met some people sometimes and I'm like, how can you live like that, I remember like one girl, she was telling me about like one guy, I think she was dating him or something like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like this guy, he just booked flight to Indonesia. He knows that he's going to Indonesia. He has no clue about like Indonesia or anything. Same like you, He just found like a cheap flight. He took it. He left the airport at 3 a.m. He didn't book any accommodation. He doesn't know anything about the country. And then he's like texting her and he's like, I don't know where I'm going, I didn't book any place. I didn't get the chance to book any place. And I'm not sure, something like this. And then he stumbled upon a hostel and the hostel was open. So he was like, okay, I'm going to crash the night in this hostel, until tomorrow I find out what I'm going to say. I would never,
But I think like that's the difference between traveling as a woman and men.
Yeah, for
because
sure.
I know a lot of men traveling and they don't mind that because they can sleep in the park, they can sleep in the metro station. They really don't care that much.
Mm-hmm.
But I was watching a YouTuber and he was saying like he was going through this intense traveling experience because this is intense. You don't know literally where you're going to sleep tonight or if you're going to have a roof on you or not. So he was doing that. And it's like causing a huge burnout at the end, even though they don't realize or like suppress or like they enjoy the adventure,
Of course.
So it's like, this is the illusion part of it, like it looks like, wow, like so brave, like so adventurous, but
yeah,
they don't show you the struggles
a lot. Yeah, you don't survive a lot after that.
Yeah. I don't think so. And like not everyone is that tolerant or like would enjoy that, but also like something that this guy was saying. I told you that it hits me hard that, there is no adventure if there is no you. So yeah, you may enjoy the stuff around you. You may think like things are adventurous and stuff. But if you are not calm in yourself, if you are not grounded, if you're not feeling peaceful, it doesn't matter what kind of adventure you are in, But if you are there and if there's no adventure around you, you can still make the most out of it. You can still enjoy the moments. So just, always try to see this behind the scenes when you see an adventure on the screen. And I think now, honestly, when I see an 18-year-old girl like starting to travel, and like she was just so enthusiastic about it, and like traveling literally another country every month, I'm like, I'll see her
Go
2 years
girl.
later. Yeah, but I feel like they're I want to share my experience,
Yeah, I think we will, by these thoughts, we will end like today episodes. I think like somehow we went through all the details, like the big lines. It's still one big guy, like one big point that we will talk about it in other episodes, inshallah, which is coping with loneliness and the feeling of loneliness in general, how much that affects your emotions and ways to cope with that, how to survive with that, because like that's a huge thing, forget about everything we said. The loneliness part, it's a huge one.
Share us like your struggles and like anything that you would want us to break down so that we can empathize with each other and like maybe talk about it in like more deeply. And I believe that maybe something that you may share will open our eyes as well, and like help us to realize something else. So yeah,
we're still learning, right?
Definitely. As you're still in Malaysia. So
that was today that was all from today's episode, and inshallah you see us in the next one, inshallah.
See you, take care.